Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to FUSANG Global Studio. I'm Lindane. I'm the Chief of Staff here at FUSANG. Today, we're going to have a very, very interesting topic, which I think a lot of you probably might have well, the reason why you're here, because you wanted to understand what the heck is Bitcoin mining. So we have a very, very special guest who's going to talk us through everything that you wanted to know about Bitcoin mining. His name is Wong. So I'll give you a very quick introduction on who Ray is. Ray is a Bitcoin miner, digital banker, and investor. He is currently starting a fund also dedicated into Bitcoin mining. He's the founder and CEO of LuTech, an award-winning company that provides Bitcoin mining services to funds, professional investors, and the energy industry. Ray was an executive in a publicly listed environmental firm and also had experience working at bulge bracket banks like Morgan Stanley and also Credit Suisse. So very quickly, I'll run you through the agenda for today. So please allow me to share screen. All right, give me a second. Fantastic. Well, I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, awesome. All right. So here's the agenda for today. Obviously, Ray here will give a little bit of introduction about LuTech, what Bitcoin is, and of course, he's going to go through the 5 W's and 1 H of Bitcoin mining. Now, FUSANG, if you are not aware yet, is Asia's first and only regulated digital stock exchange offering digital securities that is also made available to retail investors. Now, Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies FUSANG accepts to allow you to buy your digital securities at our exchange with ease. You obviously see here, digital securities will offer you access to larger pool and opportunities that were previously inaccessible to retail investors. And also, likewise, digital securities is the next big thing disrupting the financial market where you can ride the wave. Okay, well, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Ray Wong, as he talks through, again, the 5 W's and 1 H of Bitcoin mining. Ray, slide in. Okay. All right, fantastic. Let me do this, just to make sure that Ray is able to show you his presentation for today. Okay, the floor is yours, Ray.
Is this shared?
Not yet. Let me help you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ray. I'm actually Hong Kong based, and thanks FUSANG for the opportunity today to speak with you guys. Look, excited to talk about Bitcoin mining. Always do. Thanks, Lindane, for the introduction. Let me add a little bit about ourselves. We were a Cyberport. We were a Cyberport incubated company, and we won the second runner-up in Columbia University Asia Tech Entrepreneurship Competition as well. And we're covered by a lot of energy and mainstream media as well as crypto media. So yeah, I was previously in banking and also corporate as well, listed companies, and co-founded this company in 2018. It's been a great journey so far. Happy to talk to you guys more about it, and feel free to ask questions along. So I'll talk a little bit more about Bitcoin. I think a lot of people already know that this is like a digital gold. It's like a new emerging asset class. More and more people see it, more institutional involvement are getting in, especially from the listed companies like Tesla and MicroStrategy. And it's very it's very like high liquidity with over $60 billion traded each day. So I think there are a lot of like financial products that are actually starting to be developed around it. And a lot of the ecosystems are developed around it. So for Bitcoin mining to kind of take a step back, to take a look, to compare with gold mining, a lot of people look at gold mining. It's like Bitcoin mining. Is it like a commodity style mining? There are some similarities to gold mining in terms of like, but the return profile is much higher in terms of it takes around a year for payback period, excluding the salvage value of the facility. And as a lot of people draw a lot of similarities between Bitcoin and gold. So I would see there are more, but Bitcoin has a limited supply, whereas gold has pretty much unlimited supply. And I'll talk more about what Bitcoin mining is in the next slide. So for Bitcoin mining, it's what we do is basically we operate a lot of the data centers with those mining machines in them that utilize a tremendous amount of electricity. So what we do at LuTech is we optimize the energy price and also stable supply of energy and also operations of them to deliver Bitcoin to our clients every month. So I want to highlight on the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. It's currently around, I think, as they consume as much energy or more energy than Switzerland right now. And the energy consumption is growing. But that also presents a lot of opportunities to drive energy innovation. And also, in that direction, I'm going to talk about later. So now around 70% of Bitcoin mining is powered by renewable energy, especially hydroelectricity. If you don't use it, you basically lose the hydroelectricity. But there are also wind energy and solar energy that people are taking advantage of as well. So I think Square just came out with a report lately talking about the opportunities of using solar and wind generation capacity. Because there are a lot of downtime and storage of electricity is also actually a lot of energy wastage coming out of it. So compared with the banking system, it's not a very it's like a preliminary comparison with the banking system in terms of the energy expenditure. But I want to highlight in the middle in terms of carbon emissions. It's less than 1%, or it's like less than 0.1% of the global output of carbon dioxide. So in terms of Bitcoin mining, actually, we can take advantage of the unused energy from oil drilling with the associated gas. So it actually reduces a lot of if we utilize the methane for Bitcoin mining, it actually saves a lot. It's actually saves a lot from the greenhouse gas. Like currently, the energy prices have been low. So who's driving the energy innovation? So for Bitcoin mining coupled with the energy industry, it seems to be a very natural fit, especially with the gas industry. So just to quickly walk through you guys a case study of how Bitcoin mining works with the energy industry. So the energy prices are a little bit, that needs to be updated. But in terms of profitability for Bitcoin mining versus using it for selling it to the market, selling the natural gas to the market in North America, it's at least 10 times more profitable that way. And how the process actually works is we feed in the gas and we filter the gas to make sure the gas are okay for energy consumption by the turbines or the energy generators. And then it goes to the high performance computers, which are the data centers on site, actually at the energy sites. So we'll help them on the mining process, and the clients only see US dollars or Canadian dollars at the end. So you see how the Bitcoin mining side of it, and we have external parties, professionals to help us on the energy generation side. So this is how it looks like. How the left side is how the energy generation part, and the right-hand side is the Bitcoin mining part. We utilize something called the liquid immersion technology, which is a pretty state-of-the-art technology where currently a lot of the state-of-the-art data centers use. And it actually helps a lot on reducing on flaring and venting in the energy industry. So it helps on the environment as well. So there are a couple of key considerations in terms of Bitcoin mining. First is the hardware supply is pretty limited, especially when the chips are mostly manufactured in either Korea or Taiwan. And also it's guaranteeing the supply and the legitimacy of the supply, and selecting the hardware is pretty important. And also the experience of the operators, whether they have been around for long enough. And we've been mining for over 5 years for our team. So for electricity supply, so both the cost and also stability are really important. So we are currently operating in China, and we are expanding to North America as well. And we are striking a partnership with a North American listed company, energy company on the new site. And also insurance coverage would help on safeguarding the facility as well. So this is a sample data center that we have. Is basically a bunch of, you hear the noise of basically money printing. These are 2 facilities we currently have in Sichuan and Xinjiang. They're operating really well, really profitable right now. And beyond China, most of the capacity is also in China, that is growing in North America, especially you see the big yellow dots out there. It's growing globally. So the network is getting more and more decentralized. So on the left-hand side, we see one of the latest technology in terms of Bitcoin mining. And a lot of people ask me, is Bitcoin mining still profitable? I would say yes. Currently, we look at the profit from real life data today. It takes around a year, or slightly less than a year, for basically break even, for payback investments, not counting the salvage value of the machines, which are really like high in demand right now. So this is what's next. We expect what's next in the future, that it is a containerized technology that's deployed to the energy sites with liquid immersion technology, remote control. That's very easy to operate for the energy producers or the energy funds. And we are very excited about that. So in terms of what Bitcoin mining, what's the flow of it? It's basically from basically committed to Bitcoin mining. Basically within a month, that's already in operations. And we basically work with our clients for 3 years, a 3-year operating contract, and then they have an option to extend for 1 extra year, whether or not. So after that, they can decide on whether they sell the machines or how they want to operate with their profits. So in terms of profitability, I kind of want to highlight a little bit and opportunities. The net return right now is around basically 100% return and in a year, and including the CapEx amortization, we're talking about less than $20,000 per Bitcoin. So comparing to currently the Bitcoin price is around 55,000 or even 60,000 a couple of weeks ago. I think in terms of experience and stability and of the delivery is important too. So who are the current market in the market right now? So there are like mining facilities, service providers or operators like us right now, but there are also like asset managers who want to invest or get involved in the industry, either by purchasing some of like these kind of investing in some kind of like operating contracts, investing in some facilities, or like there are listed companies like dedicated to Bitcoin mining. And actually recently, a Hong Kong-based company purchased 1,000 Bitcoin mining machines for that purpose. So that's very interesting development right now. And so also private investors, and also as I talk about energy industry is also getting behind this as well, as they have a lot of unused, low cost, hard to access energy assets right now. And there are a lot of excess capacities actually at different corners around the world that can be digitalized and commercialized. So in terms of, so what opportunities, what we think in the future, what's in the future is basically data centers are getting more and more professionals. It's going to be more institutional grade, and things are getting more and more energy efficient. People are going to invest in the energy efficiency and also data centers. And there will be professional teams operating those data centers. And in terms of environmental impact, there are actually more and more people talking about in that direction in terms of when the network, Bitcoin network grows. And we need to think about the methane reduction would be a very good angle to counter the greenhouse gas from at least from an industry standpoint. And so there are also derivatives for hedging or lending products, for example, Bitcoin-backed loans, to help on hedging the volatility in terms of Bitcoin prices. And so I'm happy to answer some questions.
Hey, Ray, it's Henry Chong here.
Hi,
presentation. Hey, just a quick question. I'm wondering about what typical yield is like in mining right now.
Yes.
So, you mentioned like sort of the mining as a service.
So we are talking about like for us, the 3-year contract is 1 year is basically the payback period. And we have basically 80% of the machines at salvage value. So it's basically a net 80% even for the first year. That's very interesting compared to just buy and hold Bitcoin that we don't know where the prices are going to go.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin mining also provides some downside protection in terms of against the Bitcoin price volatility.
I guess the other question is then why haven't more people arbitraged away that spread? Right? If you can obtain Bitcoin at production cost for 18,000, why don't more people do that?
Yes, I think more and more people are actually are interested in getting into the industry, and I think for the whole industry, we are re-energized or revitalized since I think late last year. So it's only been a couple of months that people are getting into the market. Now, actually, if you walk into, I think some of the manufacturers for procuring the machines, I think the wait list is so long that it's basically next year. You got to wait next year to start. But I think we have some access to some network that we can help get the machines a bit earlier than that.
I see. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
Ray, I guess I have a question. Adele here. I was just wondering, what are you guys doing in terms of, because obviously your factories are in China, right? Is there a plan to mitigate any Chinese policy that might change, or like how do you get around that?
I think for hardware, we can easily move around the hardware in terms of both like in different areas, pockets of China that we have in Xinjiang or Sichuan. Actually, recently, I think last year, Sichuan was actually holding some conferences from the government level to promote Bitcoin mining, to take advantage of the unused energy capacity, because they have a huge supply in terms of hydroelectricity that's underutilized. And for example, we can move the machines to Kazakhstan or Mongolia or even ship them to North America. So for us, the next step for development would be more North America focused, actually.
Okay, thanks for that. Just interested.
Hi, I'm Rick. I've got a question.
Sure.
I just wondered from an individual standpoint, not from a corporate level standpoint, how do you get into Bitcoin mining if you're just an individual? What is the kind of, 3 things you need to look at, software, hardware, and knowledge wise to get started on this, rather than from the industrial level, which obviously you're very good at facilitating?
Now we're
like, what are the basic components that I need to mine Bitcoin?
So for both professionals and individuals, currently, actually the barrier of entry is not like, I think individuals can, basically we work with private individuals for Bitcoin mining as well. And I think for machine procurement, I talk about like, actually ability to source the machines is challenging right now. And also in terms of basically selecting a host for operating, that's another, the reliability, and also ability to deal with potential obstacles would be favorable. And also what's differentiating us within, I think, certain areas that we do have a Fortune 500 company underwriting our facilities. So that gives a bit of more confidence in that. I think for individuals, I think a lot, like years ago, people start off mining Bitcoins in dorm rooms, putting 1 machines in a dorm room. But now it's like getting more and more, the network has grown so much, the profitability has grown so much. So it needs to be, I think, more putting in different facilities, and people participate by joining mining pools to basically even out the rewards, Bitcoin mining rewards in that network. That's how it's done. Yeah. But we can talk offline as well.
I have a follow-up. So do you foresee it becoming easier for individuals to get involved in Bitcoin mining, to mine on this by themselves? Have you seen a shift towards that? Or is it then you're saying it's going predominantly around the industrial scale, that's where the profit is? It's not getting, there isn't less friction for an individual to get involved, there's actually more friction. Is that what you see the future as?
Yes, it will. Individuals will participate more like as like an asset management kind of through like a fund or through like a listed company, more or less. I kind of talk about in terms of basically private investors participate through the first 3 avenues, either with us like a mining service providers. I'm also like, so in terms of setting a fund as well, there's another avenue that we're exploring right now. And listed companies, there are listed companies in North America and London for Bitcoin mining as well. So there are different ways of doing it. I think for individuals, it's more or less through these 3 avenues instead of DIY.
So, Ray, sorry, it's Lynn Bain here. I also have a follow-up question.
Yes.
As an individual, so you obviously don't suggest anymore that we get this computer and do our Bitcoin mining in a dorm room. That's not the most viable way anymore.
Yes. It started off like really, I mean, when a Bitcoin was a few cents, I think people could kind of do that. Each day they can mine maybe a Bitcoin or 2 or a couple of Bitcoins. But nowadays, Bitcoin prices have grown so much and the network have grown so much. So it becomes actually more and more institutionalized, but more decentralized in terms of geography as well.
Hey, I have another quick question. I guess Bitcoin to me is always Bitcoin mining is always a factor of hardware costs, as you said, plus also energy costs. And I'm just wondering, in terms of the difference between having cheap energy costs versus the cost of cooling, how does that play out? Because I obviously there are a lot of countries near the equator that have access to cheap energy, but it's very hot versus places that are very cold. Which one is a more important factor?
So I think energy cost is related to both on the processing power and also cooling. So in terms of, I think, for example, using liquid immersion technology, it's basically a very efficient way of cooling it. It's basically liquid cooling versus air cooling. So when you talk about specific use cases like in Africa, or even like in very swampy areas in somewhere Brazil, very humid areas like in Malaysia, etc. It's basically you simply cannot. That's no choice in terms of if they have cheap energy, they have to basically choose liquid immersion versus air cooling. But currently, if there's a choice in terms of, for example, in Sichuan, it's still more profitable using air cooling versus liquid immersion that I show.
Awesome, thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael over here. So thanks Ray for the presentation. It's really good. I just had a very simple question, how does crypto mining or Bitcoin mining compare to all the other crypto investment? For example, staking or crypto lending. So how is the performance compared to all those others?
When you talk about staking, you're talking a lot about, I think to summarize, you're talking about the yield products in terms of, or versus more the speculative side of investments. I did a bit of comparison versus holding Bitcoin. If Bitcoin prices stay the same, I think in a year, we're talking about around 80% to 100% net return for Bitcoin mining versus 0% for holding Bitcoin.
Right.
So you talk about the yield products like staking. For example, you stake Ethereum, basically you get less than 10% return a year for Ethereum, but you have to also take the price fluctuations of Ethereum as well. But for Bitcoin mining, we're talking about, you get daily, it's more like I see it as more like a high yield bond with downside protection that's denominated in Bitcoin. And every single day you see Bitcoins deposited in your wallet. So it's a daily de-risking process. And I think that's very interesting to see basically your wallet grows every day. And a lot of the profitability is very transparent. Basically, it's very public. The Bitcoin blockchain is public. So all the mining, I think return is pretty much transparent and public. So what we're helping out is basically on the operations excellence and also hardware procurement and also hardware optimization side.
Yeah, I think you answered it very well. Thanks.
So feel free to so maybe LinkedIn, have you shared my email or LinkedIn in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me for any questions. So thanks for joining today.
Hey everybody, it's me again. Thanks Ray for an excellent presentation and answering questions from our amazing participants here. So right after this presentation, we're going to send you an email as a thank you message, including Ray's email address. So if you have further questions, or if you're curious on how you want to start participating in Bitcoin mining out of the 3 examples that he's given, then you can feel free to email him and you can discuss separately. Again, thanks everybody for being here today, and I hope to see you soon. If you're not part yet of the FUSANG community, please do so. We conduct several events, pretty much like what Ray did for us. I think next week or next week, we're going to have an event on the central bank digital currency. So I hope to see you there. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much. So type in FUSANG either on your Google Play or App Store and register and be part of our community. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.